So now that we have a single post in our database, what we need to do now is to see how we can display this post on the user's profile. So this is our post right here, not very fancy. And this is our content. Okay, so now to maintain this view, we might want to add some more text, but let's see how the current text will look like. So first of all, let's go to our profile page and delete this area right here. Okay, so let's go to profile.php. This is where we are. And if we go down here where there is a post, I think that area is where it says what's on my mind. So we search for that, and let me go down. So if you watch right here where it says posts, this is where posts start from, and there's this div post bar. So this one contains all the posts. This is the white thing here. So that's not what we want. We want one block of the post, so which is this one. ID is equal to post. This is post 1. So it starts from here and it ends there. So we want all this, and let's cut that, save. So if I refresh, I'm going to get one post has been removed. Okay, so that's well and good. Now let's create a new file called post.php again. Now this is not this one in the classes. This one we are going to save it outside the classes. So posts.php. So it's not posts, it's a single post, so it's post.php. So let me save. Okay, so in here, let's simply paste what we cut from that side and put it here. So let me move it a bit back with the tab key like so. So this is what we have. So we have some HTML in here, which is well and good. So if I go back to the, let me delete the second post as well. I'll simply delete this one. So post 1, post 2, all gone. So instead here, I'm going to delete that as well. So all the posts will be here. So if I refresh the page here, I'll see that all the posts have disappeared. No posts for this user. So what we need to do now is read from the database and actually add the posts here. Now to show an example of what we are going to be doing is we'll simply include this post.php here. So since that's PHP, we'll add some PHP tags here and close the tags right here. Uh-oh. All right, something like that. So now we can simply say include. We include the file post.php like that. So it's as simple as that. So let me refresh the page. And as you can see, the file has been included. Now the reason why we are doing it this way is because by doing it like this, we can simply loop. So let's say I want 10 posts in here. All I have to do is add a for loop. So if you remember how a for loop goes, it's like this. Let's create a variable called I and make it equal to 0. And then let's put, so you can leave spaces here to make it easier to see. And then we put a semicolon and say while I is less than 10, for example, and then a semicolon and increment I plus plus, something like that. So that's how you make a for loop. But we won't be using a for loop in our case. This is just an example. So now what this means is this is going to repeat, this section will repeat 10 times, all right? So every time it's going to include this post right here. So let's see that in action. So we have a syntax error. Very good, I love errors. So syntax error, unexpected equal sign on line 256. in the profile page. So 256 right here. So this part supposedly is unexpected. Where is the equal sign? Oh, am I correct? That's profile.php on line 258. So where is that? 258 is this one. Ah, okay. So the reason this has created an error is because I forgot that in PHP you need a $sign to create a variable. So I'll put that $sign there. Okay, because I use multiple languages, so sometimes I get things a little bit mixed up. So let's refresh that. Let's revert to the normal size. And as you can see, we have 10 posts like this. As simple as that. So this is pretty awesome. Okay. So that's why we separated that into a post of its own, so we can repeat it over and over. But how do we get different data inside here? So all we need to do is have a variable out here which has the posts. Okay, so once we have that variable, we can easily loop through it and add different information there. So let's see how we can do that. So if I go up here where we got the result for the post, we named it result. So this wasn't a very good name because it's not very descriptive. The same way we did here, we named it user data. So we're going to say post. Let's just name it posts. All right, that's good enough. So if any posts were returned, we loop through it. So posts is an array that contains rows of posts. So for example, if we go back to the database, there's going to be several rows here of data as we add more posts. And so each row will be taken from the posts. Actually, sorry to have changed that. This one is not for the read. This is actually for the write, for the writing right here. This is when we post a post. Okay. So sorry about that correction right there. Now, one thing that happens is this. Let me add a new post here and you see one interesting thing before we do all this. So I'm going to say this is my second post on my profile. So now what happens is this. If I hit post, okay, now if I try to refresh the page, it's going to ask me to send the data again. Now if I click resend, it's going to save another record here, which is not what I want. So let me check this out. If I go to browse, you see that now we have two posts. Now if I hit resend here, it's going to add another post which is identical to the one. So if I keep hitting resend, it will fill up my database. Now I don't want this. So in order to avoid this kind of thing, what we do is immediately the post is good to go here if everything went well. So we're going to ask the question if result if error is empty or the result is empty. I'm trying to zoom in here, but it's not working. Okay, there we go. So if the result is empty, if result is equal to empty, something like this, because remember, when we are posting here in the class, we're returning the error. So the error originally is empty. So if nothing goes wrong, it will return an empty string, or it might return this type something to post. Okay, so we're checking if it's empty, then no errors happened. So what we do here is we redirect to the same exact page. Header, we say location, this is the profile.php page, and then we say die. Okay, that is good enough. Now in case we get an error, so let's put an else here. Now if we get an error, we're supposed to display that error at the top there. Now we already did something like this on the login page, right? So I can simply go back here to the login page where it says the following errors occurred, and then I can simply copy this and go back to profile right there and paste it there. So if the result is not good, then echo the following errors occurred.